TIFU by making such a disgusting smell from my butt it evacuated the courtroom. So this happened about 5 hours ago. So today I woke up and had really painful cramps due to the deadly woman's monthly cycle, mixed with some spiced chicken that hadn't set right in my belly all night. I go to the toilet about 3 times before work this morning, but it seized off a bit, so take tablets, grin and bear it, then leave for work. Now my job is working within the prison system and escorting prisoners to certain places, including courts. This is where it all went downhill. I had to escort this prisoner over to the witness box and stand next to her, open court. So I do my usual, but my tummy has started to really hurt again. I'm trying my absolute best to put off a fart which I know is brewing but can't hold it much longer. So I do a really silent one and pat myself on the back thinking I had got away with it. That is until the prisoner starts coughing and retching and shouting, "What the button at that?" I quickly realize what it must be but can't admit to such a foul, putrid smell, so start crinkling my nose as well and gagging. The admin clerk walks slightly closer and retches so hard she had to swiftly put her head in the bin. By this point it's getting loud and chaos is starting to ensue, not what you want in court, in front of the district judge. He quickly tells me to take the prisoner back over to the closed dock and states it must be the pipes. He stands down the whole of court and makes maintenance come in to check all pipes for any leaks, cracks, anything which could have made that smell happen. Prisoner still has watery eyes, pretending to gag, and the clerk is sipping water next to a bucket. TLDR, so yeah, court was stood down for over an hour whilst it was searched for the cause of the smell. Knowing the cause was back down in the cells, hanging her head in shame and regaling to her co-workers about the leaky pipe upstairs. You should also pat yourself on the back for releasing such a smelly fart that everyone in the room thought a gas leak occurred. Of course, the alternate scenario. Funny story. I teach martial arts, so when we're doing stuff like burpees to help warm up, or incorporating sit-ups into HIIT-style warm-ups, sometimes people let one slip. It happens often enough that nobody really thinks anything of it. Had one dude come with his girlfriend and her friend, and someone's mom. It was their first time. Dude ended up getting a thunderclap of a fart squeezed out, and that fart was one of the most ungodly smells I have ever experienced, and I say this as a father who has changed many of diapers. Their entire entourage was visibly shaken and embarrassed, and the whole room was filled with grimaces and distracted faces. They never came back, sadly. Can I buy you the same chicken and ask you to shut down a certain bank branch that treated me like cheesecake? Ah yes, the dreaded period pop. I know it well. I swear my farts barely smell except for 3 days every month when I'm genuinely concerned they might burn a hole right through my jeans. Once, on my period, I farted for 11 seconds straight. The stench was horrendous. I have similar thing happen when I first starting dating my husband. Lying in bed I had to fart so bad, but when had only been together 2 months. Worst period mixed and a spicy curry that didn't sit well. I thought it would be okay, nope, let it out, immediately gagged. He has a sweet little dog curled up with us and I blamed it on him. My now husband booted him from the room. I confessed 7 years later and he remembered vividly and didn't talk to me for 2 days because I had betrayed his dog. He stands down the whole of court and makes maintenance come in to check all pipes for any leaks, cracks, anything. He didn't check all the cracks. TIFU by cheating on my so and karma came fast. This actually happened about 10 years ago and we split up because of it. Before I go any further, I want to point out that I am fully aware of how butternut and inexcusable cheating is. I was young and made a mistake that I paid for immediately. This is my story. So one night my roommate invited me, 21 years old at the time, to the beach to see a bunch of people that we knew from high school and hadn't seen since graduation. We had spent all night in the bar drinking and taking shots. Eventually the bar closes, so me, my roommate and the remaining members of our group decided to grab the coolers from our friend's hotel and head towards the water to finish the night off with a few more beers and listen to the water. The waves seemed to be appearing from a void. This is about the time things took a turn. We had been debating getting in the water, but this is not very smart at night, especially when you don't know the schedule of the tide, plus we were absolutely zucchini faced. I was the first one to start heading that way, removing my clothes down to my underwear, when one of the girls we were with sprints past me. I turn around and everyone is naked. I admit that at this point I had not even considered how my girlfriend would have felt about this, and I got naked too. We had been swimming for about 30 minutes when everyone started splitting up. This was during low tide, so you could go quite a ways away from shore and still be waist deep. I had come up to a sandbar with this girl that I had been friends with for years. Neither of us had even realized how far away we had strayed from the group or the shore. This is the moment I cheated. About halfway through the deed I heard my roommate screaming our names at the top of his lungs. We were the only ones left out there and the tide was coming in. We made it only a few feet from the sandbar when I noticed what looked like fireflies in the water. I quickly realized that these were jellyfish and they were everywhere. We both frantically tried to hurry through, but they just kept coming. There were at least 50 to 75 that we could see. Suddenly I felt a sharp sting across the back of both knees. I grabbed my friend by the wrist and started to pull her as I did my best to run, because now cheesecake had gotten serious. I made the one mistake that every beachgoer knows better than to do. I decided we needed to get out immediately and climbing the rocks would help. I didn't even get a single foot planted because my toe was immediately sliced open to the bone by a clam. Now I'm naked, pouring blood, and both of us had been stung all over. We started back towards the beach when I was doubled over in pain, shooting through my butternut and balls. I thought I had been bitten by something, but it turns out a jellyfish had wrapped around my genitals. I had never been in pain like this before. When we finally got to the beach, we were surrounded by all of our friends who heard us screaming and had called the police because they thought we had come across a shark. It's now almost 5 a.m. and the experience had completely sobered me up. The police were surprisingly cool about the whole situation, and one of them offered to walk us back to the hotel. Fast forward to later in the morning when my roommate had driven us home. When we got home, I started evaluating my injuries. I definitely needed stitches, but opted out because I didn't have insurance at the time. My zucchini looked horrendous, however. I couldn't even believe what this jellyfish had done to it. It was swollen, tender, and was a different shape. I took a handful of ibuprofen and took a shower before passing out for the remainder of the day until the evening when I wake up to my girlfriend crawling in the bed with me. My heart sank. She knew I had gone out the night before, and my roommate informed her of my rough night, excluding the fact that I betrayed her. She was there for maybe a total of 10 minutes before I completely broke down and confessed, but did not tell her about the cut or the jellyfish. She never looked at me, never cried, and left without saying anything. I saw her about 4 years ago in a bar. She approached me and asked if we could talk for a while. She told me that she was never mad at me and that after some time she was just happy I was honest. After the fact, she noted. To which I replied, "Well, I've got something else to tell you about that night that you're going to love." Cheese Zucchini loved every second of hearing the rest of the events from that night. Laughed pretty hard about it. I paid for her tab and left. We haven't spoken since. TL, Doctor, I cheated on a very good girl and was stung on the banana by a jellyfish immediately after. Zucchini, that's a story she'll be telling people for years. Talk about a parting gift. Got any crazy exes? Wanna hear about the jellyfish cheater? Coconut, your ex-girlfriend must be Poseidon's secret human daughter or something for the sea to get you like that. Pissed him off. So who did you get to pee on your cheesecake? The roommate in the story will bring this up from time to time and say I should have asked him because that's what friends are for. So what you are trying to say is that you cheated on your girlfriend with a jellyfish. The ending is how you know it's not a butternut writer's rom-com pitch idea. The adults talked about it well after the fact with the clarity of hindsight and moved on, rather than engaging in a series of ridiculous events of neither fully hearing what the other was saying, causing unwarranted issues. Also, the DOP didn't try giving us specific details of the butternut act, like half the posts on here. TIFU by having a weird picture as my email profile picture for a decade. When I was 12 I created my email address for fun, but as I got older my email address became more important. I had to give it to teachers, doctors, a bunch of different departments, friends, for banana's sake even the parents of my past girlfriends, my own family, professors and so on. It's basically my main email address for everything. Today I sent myself an email for the first time, because I thought it was the smartest way to get something from my phone to my computer. I'm using a different email on my phone, so I just clicked on sending a message to, entered my real email address. The email contact shows up and there is a cheesecake profile picture. I even remembered how I used this banana picture back when I was 12 because I thought it was funny and I apparently never changed it. Cheesecake, that's so embarrassing. I hope that nobody ever saw it, even though I think that's almost impossible. But why did nobody ever tell me about it? Butternut. TL, doctor. Didn't realize that I had a cheesecake picture as my email profile picture for my main email address. Not good. The real question is, how have you gone this long without emailing yourself to get zucchini from computer to phone? This happened to me with my voicemail. I've had my number since I was about 11 to 12. Originally I thought it was funny to have a silly voicemail. I remember I had just applied for a job I really wanted and received a call from them but missed it. I was curious to why I didn't get a voicemail message, so I called myself to see if I could receive one. Man, that's when I heard 12-year-old me with a high-pitched voice yelling, "Hey, it's me. Don't bother leaving me a voice message because I won't listen to it and I don't care who you are." Lol, that's perfect. Got to admit, it is way better than you know what to do. Dude, you gotta link us the picture. It's gone, dude, frown. I hate to break it to you, but anyone who uses the same email provider as you saw it, they just chose to pretend like they hadn't. Oh man, that's so embarrassing, frown. By cheesecake, do you more mean, hopefully, that it was a maybe obvious sexy anime photo but maybe of a dressed lady? Or like, was it some kind of suspended chick with like tentacles and liquid everywhere? We got butternut by 3 pirates.